Hi, I'm Ron and welcome to PopScicle, where I talk about popular culture, science, and everything in between. Just in case you're new to this channel, I'm a researcher and teacher in biology, but I'm also very much immersed in popular culture in many different aspects of it. And a lot of what I do as a researcher and as a teacher and as a writer have to do with me merging my interests in biology and in popular culture like movies, television series, anime, music, RPGs, and the like. And that's really the content that you're going to see in this YouTube channel. Now, in this 31st episode of my YouTube channel of PopScicle, I'm going to talk about my top 50 anime opening themes. I haven't really covered anime that much. The last time I covered it was when I talked about Cowboy Bebop, and that was many episodes ago. So I'm glad to be going back to this, and this is going to be a fun episode. I had a lot of fun coming up with this list. I love anime. I've loved anime since the 90s, starting with some staples that I was able to watch in Philippine television, but also with OAVs and movies like Ninja Scroll and such. And it's an amazing medium. And one of the greatest things about anime is the opening themes and the ending themes also, which is going to be for another episode. I think that's gonna be harder to do, but yeah, I love the opening themes. I always watch the whole opening credits first on the first watch of an anime, so that I could really get the feel of that opening theme. And there have been so many great opening themes in anime over the decades that anime has been entertaining us. So I wanted to come up with my own list. This was challenging but very much fun as an activity. Initially, I wanted to do the best or most iconic anime themes, but I won't pretend to have listened to everything, of course, or even to majority of the anime that have come out. So it's probably better for me to just come up with my list of top 50 anime opening themes. So this is really preference in terms of the melody usually, but also sometimes in terms of the lyrics and how the opening theme connects with the anime itself. By the way, this is on anime series, so OAVs are not included. If they were, then you'd be seeing here the opening theme to the OAV of Ame Goddess and Gundam 8th MS Team, which are among the best opening themes in Japanese animation. But I'm limiting it right now to just the television series. So let's get it started. I'm going to show you my top 50 to 16, and then I'm going to discuss individually my top 15. So here it is.
GeGeGeのゲ朝は寝床でグーグーグー楽しいはい始まった絡まったからかった奴らは浮かに行っちゃった誰に頼まれたわけでも
So those were my number 16 to 50. Did you see your favorites there? If not, then maybe they're in my top 15, which I'm going to start now. At number 15, I have Futagiri no Yuuyake from Durarara. So Durarara is a really fun anime made by the same people who did Bakano, which is one of my favorites of all time. And just like Bakano, it used a really fun, upbeat, funky opening theme And in fact, you had seen earlier Guns N' Roses, the opening theme of Bakano in the list. But this one, it has lyrics to it, which is, I have to admit, something that I usually prefer to my opening themes. That's why while Tank by Cowboy Bebop is definitely one of the best in terms of the overall composition, it didn't rank too high because I prefer opening themes with lyrics in them. So this one is, when I was ranking my opening themes for this list, I didn't expect this song to rank so high. But after I gave everything a listen again, I realized that I really love this opening theme, and it's funky opening, and it's upbeat, a tone all throughout, really speaks about how hyperkinetic and exciting the anime itself is and the characters are, as anyone who has seen the series would know. So that's why, even though I initially thought that it would rank lower, it eventually ended up being in my top 15. At number 14 is Just Communication from Mobile Suit Gundam Wing. Who doesn't know Just Communication, right? And who doesn't know Gundam Wing? I have to admit that before watching the Mobile Suit Gundam, the original Gundam series from the 1970s, this was the first Gundam series that I ever watched. And it's not even part of the Universal Century, which tends to be the ones that I like more. It's super fun, the series itself, even if the lead character, Hiro Yui, is not the most fun of characters. But part of the fun of this anime is the music, and definitely Just Communication is one of the most memorable opening themes in anime ever. If I had included OAVs, I'd probably include White Reflection also in this list. But I'm limiting it to TV series, and Just Communication was a no-brainer for me. I definitely had to include it in my top 20, and here I'm saying that it's in my top 15. It's electro-pop, which is what 2mix, the pop duo that sang this song, is known for. And in fact, they do some of the other songs in the Gundam Wing series, which I have to admit have very, very similar tones to them, melodies. So if you listen to them for the first time, sometimes it's difficult to differentiate one from the other. But ultimately, Just Communication is super catchy and really sticks with you for a long time afterward. It's one of those anime themes that you won't really forget after listening to it for the first time. And again, it captures the energy of the series itself. At number 13 is Hitori no Yoru from Great Teacher Onizuka. So Great Teacher Onizuka is one of the most amusing, one of the funniest anime out there, but also very, it's not all comedy. There's also a lot of drama in it, especially when Onizuka Sensei tries to convert his students, his very, very problematic students. And so it's really one of the best anime out there. What I noticed when surveying the anime that I've watched for the purpose of filling up this list is that GTO has one of the best soundtracks in anime, because this one isn't the only good theme from that anime. There are several others, and spoiler alert, there's one that's much higher in this list. We're going to encounter GTO again. But some of the other themes, including ending themes, are really great. And I'll probably include one or two of them in my future list of ending themes. And they're rock. You have this one sung by Porno Graffiti, which is one of the more popular J-rock bands. Another one, of course, is Driver's High, which is sung by Lark and Shell, which is one of the most popular J-rock bands out there. And these are the perfect songs to capture the zaniness and the energy of Onizuka and his cast of students. The ending themes tend to be more mellow, which tends to be the trend for ending themes. But for opening themes, Paksa Walok, it's the perfect way to open a series like this. At number 12 is Kiniga Sukidato Sakibita from Slam Dunk.
しい日差しを背に走り出す街の中叩かれたいつものように体を
So if I mispronounced that title, I apologize. I did take Japanese lessons when I was in college, but that was a long time ago. I could sing it better than speak it outside of song, but I won't do that. But anyway, Slam Dunk. Before I fell in love with Haikyuu, before it became probably my favorite sports-based anime, there was Slam Dunk, and I owe that a lot to Slam Dunk being shown on local television here in the Philippines, and also a lot of it resembling the basketball team of my university here in the Philippines. And so there was a strong connection with the anime, which also had great animation, especially during the basketball games. But you can't discuss Slam Dunk without discussing that roaring opening theme, which you can immediately identify with Slam Dunk. Slam Dunk, of course, being a sports anime, being basketball, it's all about movement, fast movement. And so this song really captured that energy and was perfect as an opening, setting the mood for something like this. And of course, if you listen to it while watching the images and the opening credits of the anime, you can see really just from that, 2 minutes, those 2 minutes, why it's such a popular anime, why it's so well loved, and why this song is so memorable also. At number 11 is a very new anime. This is from Made in Abyss. The title of the song is Deep in Abyss. I love Made in Abyss. First of all, it's probably in my top 15 or top 20 anime of all time. It's fantastic. There are sci-fi elements, there are even horror elements, and there's a lot of drama. Mitty, right? Sorry, I had to mention it. There's a lot of there's comedy also. So it's a fantastic anime. And the first time I watched it, and the first time I heard this opening theme, I immediately thought, oh, this is one of the best anime opening themes I've heard in a long time. Because prior to that, and you can see that in my list, many of my favorite opening themes are from the 90s. Not a lot of those from the 2000s really struck me and stayed with me. But this one really did, because of its beat, especially when it reaches that climax stage, where there's an element I'm not a music expert, I'm not a musician, so I can't really I can't really explain the technicalities of it. But there's that part near the climax of that song where it evokes not just fantastic elements but the horror elements also, the darkness of the series, and the melody is really just great. And aside from that, it's the only song in my top 15, and maybe one of only a handful of the songs in my top 50 that are actually sung by the voice actors of the lead characters. So this was sung by Mio Tomita and Maria Ise, who play the lead characters of Made in Abyss. So they're children, their characters are children, so there's that innocence, and you can hear that in their voice. There's that wonder. There's also that that fear of the unknown, which is one of the greatest things about this anime. So yeah, it's it's an amazing, opening theme, and it rightly won the Crunchyroll award for best opening theme during that year. Now we get to my top 10 anime opening themes of all time. Again, these are my preferences. These are the ones that I like the most, particularly because of the melody, or mainly because of the melody, but also how they speak about the anime that they open. So, at number 10, we have History Maker from Yuri on Ice.
Can you hear my heartbeat? Tired of feeling never enough.
Anyone who has watched Yuri on Ice would have been amazed, blown away by that opening, where you have that very colorful, greatly animated montage of the characters skating, ice skating, and it was the perfect opening theme accompanying it. History Maker. Ever since hearing that song, and then also watching the whole music video from Dean Fujioka, which was set in a train, in a Japanese train, and there was an orchestra, which is so perfect. It's now the song that I think of when I think of victory, when I think of potential, when I think of people like athletes, but also, students probably joining an academic competition or something like that. If I were to make a video of people like students or athletes who are about to go into a competition, and I want to hype them up, I'd use this as the song, because it talks about making history, talks about making a difference, and really, that's one of the major things about Yuri on Ice, overcoming difficulties also. Um, the song itself as presented in the anime is great enough, but then if you watch the music video with Dean Fujioka, the singer, um, it's so much better also, because there's that whole orchestra that you see, and the action and the message of the music video itself is amazing. So I suggest that you watch it. But I'm really excited about season 2 of Yuri on Ice. I hope it comes soon. I'm not sure if they'll be able to come up with an opening theme as great as History Maker, but I'm still excited to hear what they have for us next. But for now, we have History Maker, which I believe is really one of the best anime opening themes ever, and that's why it's my number 10. At number 9 is a classic. Everyone knows this, Hohoemi no Bakudan from Yu Yu Hakusho. Who doesn't know this song, right? This is probably one of the opening themes that I can identify on the first note. That entrance, that beat is immediately recognizable. And then you see that character, sorry, I forgot the name of the character, going on her broom, speeding through the sky. And those are images that are indelible. And the music itself is indelible also. That's why when it was shown on Netflix for the first time a few months ago, I did not skip the opening credits. Definitely not, because it's really one of the best out there. It's something that's so great to sing to. I can imagine that this would be a perfect karaoke song. I don't know if it is available in karaoke or videoke, but I'd belt it definitely if it were. And again, it's not only because of the melody that I'm ranking it so high. It's also because it's so iconic. There are many iconic opening themes that I didn't really include in my top 50. Some are there, but this one is really one of my favorites because it's so catchy, and I won't ever forget this song. No, I don't think anyone who hears this song and likes the series would ever forget Hohoemi no Bakudan. Especially the mecha mecha part, right? Mecha mecha, everyone knows that part. And if only for that part of the song, it deserves its place in any top 10 list of anime opening themes. At number 8 is Tenshin Yobikiri from Karikami. Karikano is one of my favorite animes. It's amazingly made. It's very very dramatic, but also very very funny in the episodes that are comedic. They weren't able to finish the story in the anime, as anyone who has watched it would know. So you'd have to continue it in the manga. But what we did see was an amazing character study of several characters and excellent in the dramatic shifts, in the emotional, in capturing the emotions of these characters with the art, and also the music. The soundtrack of this anime is one of the best, I would say. And the opening theme doesn't capture the darkness of the latter episodes of the series, but it does capture the great joy that there is in the first half of the series. Tenshi no Yobikiri is a song that you would play if you're hanging out with friends. That's the feeling that I get from it, especially when you're in school. Well, it's the school setting that really pops in the series, and that's the sort of feel that you get in the melody, the hype of the opening theme, and it's something that you can bop to, something that you can dance to also. It's one of the few anime songs that I have memorized, and that's testament to how catchy it is and how it sticks in your head once you hear it, which is a characteristic of practically all of the songs in my top 10 actually. But also I have special memories of this because this is an anime that I and my closest friends like, and we watch some episodes together, and this is a song that I identify with them sometimes, and so that's part of the reason why it ranks so high when it probably wouldn't rank so high in other people's lists, even if they like it also. At number 7 is the first song in this top 10 that is sung by Maya Sakamoto, one of the legends in as a seiyuu in anime, and this is Yakusoku wa Iranai from the Vision of Escaflowne. We all know that this was composed by the great Kanoyoko, the peerless Kanoyoko, as was the score of the entire series, which is one of the most fantastic anime ever produced. I still derive inspiration from it when I write science fiction or fantasy novels and short stories. The world building is amazing, and part of that world building, I would say, really is the opening theme, which was sung gracefully and beautifully by Maya Sakamoto, who is also peerless, just like Kanoyoko, her usual partner in crime. The angelic voice, which brings you to a fantastic world, which is the perfect way to open an anime that's basically isekai. It is an isekai, one of the earlier ones, one of the most impactful ones. And it's perfectly complemented by the other tracks in the soundtrack, which are equally ethereal and heavenly, which is again testament to the brilliance of Kanoyoko. I'm sure a lot of you are saying, why doesn't this rank higher? This should rank higher. It just so happens that I like other songs more in general, and you'd probably be surprised with the next song, which is also by Maya Sakamoto, why it ranks higher. It's a personal preference, but that doesn't take anything away from this song, which is really, personal preference wise, it's number 7 only in my list, but I wouldn't begrudge it at all a ranking in the top 3 of anime opening themes of all time. If it were just based on quality, based on being the best, or based on being iconic, I think it deserves to be in the top 3 or the top 5 at the very least. But for me, it's top 7, but I love it. I love this song. At number 6 is, like I said, another Maya Sakamoto song, and this is Kiseki no Umi from Record of Lodoss War Chronicles of the Heroic Knight. also love the opening theme of the OVA of Record of Lodoss War. But again, I did not include OVAs. But even if I did, this would definitely rank higher. I mean, imagine it's number 6 in my list. It probably wouldn't rank so high in many other people's lists. But I can't help but fall in love with the even more fantastic quality to it. And the vocalization of Maya Sakamoto in this really takes you to a different realm. I guess the best way to think about this in comparison with Yakusoku wa Iranai is that whereas the song from escaflowne accompanies an anime that's isekai, starts off with a character being from Earth and then being transported to a different realm. This one, as a Record of Lodoss War, is from start to finish completely set in a fantastic world that's not real, and that's the same feel that I get from the song. And me being a fantasy lover, fantasy buff in terms of literature and movies, I can't help but feel that mystical quality to the song that accompanies this great anime, which is also one of my favorites. So that's probably just the small thing that gives it a slight edge over Yakusoku wa Iranai. Although I really had a hard time deciding which one was higher in my list. But they're both Maya Sakamoto songs. They're both sung so beautifully, ethereally, and yeah, that makes Maya Sakamoto actually one of my favorite, not only seiyuu but singers of opening themes in anime. At number 5 is Yuzurenai Negai from Magic Knight Ray-Earth. Magic Knight Ray-Earth was shown in local television in the 90s here in the Philippines, and the opening theme was translated into Filipino, which is so catchy. I still remember the lyrics. When I went to Japan for the first time a few years ago, and I went to Tokyo Tower, I couldn't help but sing the song both in Japanese and in Tagalog. And anyone who has watched it would know why I had to do it. I had to do it in Tokyo Tower. The English version is horrible. Sorry if that offends anyone, but I hate it. Tagalog version is fun, although the translation is not a translation at all because it's not based on the Japanese version at all, I believe. But the Japanese one, of course, is the best. It's soaring. I guess that's a perfect word for it. And it's perfect because when the song starts in the opening credits, the scene is of the open sky of Sephiroth, right? It's a very soaring, uplifting song that brings you to the sky, brings you to a magical place also. So, Magic Knight Ray-Earth is another classic isekai series, one of the best ones. And just like Yakusoku wa Iranai before it, this one brings you to a different place as well. This song and the beat is so infectious. It's so easy to sing to and even to bop to. And again, this is one of those songs where just listening to it makes you imagine all of the scenes of the anime again, which can be very nostalgic. And that's part of the reason why I ranked it so high, whereas other people probably wouldn't. I don't know. But this, you may remember that this is the second song from Magic Knight Ray-Earth in my list, in my top 50 list. And that's not surprising because it's also one of my favorite anime. At number 4 is one of the catchiest opening themes ever. This is Catch You Catch Me from Cardcaptor Sakura. So the title itself says it all, right? It's so catchy. Who doesn't remember Catch You Catch Me? Ora, catch you, catch you, catch me, Matteo. That's the rare time that I will sing in my channel. But yeah, and I'm glad that this has been introduced to a whole new audience. because Cardcaptor Sakura is now in Netflix. Don't skip the opening credits because it's the one of the cutest, if not the cutest, anime opening themes ever. Actually, now looking at my top 10, then I can say it is the cutest anime opening theme ever. Maybe a close contender would be the one from Chobits, which is lower in the list. But yeah, this captures the adorable lead character, Sakura, the adorable relationship that she has with her brother and her friends, and particularly Tomoyo, and of course with Lee Shaoran, which is yes, I know they're very young, but that was one of the ultimate anime ships that I had when I was watching back in the 90s when I was watching when I began to watch a lot of anime. It captures all of that innocence and cuteness that you find in the entire series. Yes, there are some dark moments, but those are very few and far in between. It's mostly uh, positivity and brightness, and you get that a lot from this perfect anime opening theme. Now we're in my top 3, and at number 3 is the second song from Great Teacher Onizuka, and I mentioned it before. This one should be popular, should be familiar to all of you. This is Driver's High from Lark and Shell. This is the song that you play when you're cruising on a highway, when you're speeding on a highway. It's an awesome song. It's J-Rock, and by none other than Lark and Shell, one of the pillars of the J-Rock industry. It's the catchiest song in this. It's one of the catchiest songs in any list of anime opening themes. And one of the ones that will really get you standing up and dancing or rocking to it. I dare you to not bang your head a bit, even just a bit, when listening to Driver's Side. And it's also the perfect song to listen to when you're with your friends. Yeah, during a road trip. Again, it captures just like the other song before it in my top 15 from GTO. It captures the energy, the insane energy of Onizuka and the rest of the characters and the anime itself. So that's why it's my number 3. I don't think I can justify ranking it lower because it's so memorable and so catchy. And even if it were outside anime, it's a perfect J-Rock single, which it was. It was one of the singles of Lark and Shell. This is probably a song that would make you want to explore J-Rock more. At number 2 is Rainbow Revolution from Revolutionary Girl Utena. This was sung by Masami Okui, and while my ranking would probably surprise a lot of you why it's ranked so high, it's quite a popular song. It's one of the most recognized and I would say most liked anime opening themes, especially in Japan. In fact, it had several other versions, I believe, that were produced. It's upbeat, and its melody is a surge. It surges, and it also very effectively captures that unique flavor, esoteric and enigmatic and weird energy of the anime itself. I mean, the animation is very unique. Animation and the character designs are so unique. The scoring is so unique. There's that song, Zetai Unmei Moshiroku. If I gave the wrong title, but that song that plays every time Utena climbs the staircase for the duel. Those are the things, along with the shadow puppet scenes and everything, that give this anime such a unique flavor that's unlike any other anime. But aside from that, there's this song. There's this opening theme. Take My Revolution. Right? I mean, that line itself speaks of the theme of the anime and the energy of that anime. Sorry if I keep on using the term energy, but energy is something that you find a lot in anime, right? But yeah, it's a perfect song to accompany the visuals and the themes of the anime, and so that's why it ranks so high. Aside from the fact that it's such a great song to listen to, you may have guessed number one by now. Number one is A Cruel Angel's Thesis from Neon Genesis Evangelion. Sung by Yoko Takahashi, this is the most popular anime theme song of all time, I would say. I don't know what contends with it. Maybe Chala Head Chala from Dragon Ball Z. Maybe that's one. Maybe some of the mecha anime theme songs. But this would definitely rank way up there because Evangelion itself is still a phenomenon even up to now. Decades after it was first aired in the 90s, it's still featuring in theme parks, in the trains of Japan. It's a pop culture phenomenon, mostly in Japan, but all over the world as well. And part of the reason for that is this crazily good composition, this anime theme song that is incomparable, essentially. Its beat, its melody, its lyrics even, which matches the insanity of Neon Genesis Evangelion, the weirdness of it. It's something that you won't forget also once you hear it, and something that you would sing repeatedly, and that's why this is a favorite karaoke song, I believe, in Japan. I saw somewhere before that it's one of the most sung karaoke songs in Japan. Please correct me if I'm wrong if you're from Japan. But I believe that was the case for a few years. I don't know if that's still the case. But I'm not surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if that's still the case because it's an amazing song, and I would say that it's a perfect song for an anime, especially an anime like Neon Genesis Evangelion. It's one of the best things about it, and again, it accompanies the rest of the score, which is quite as complicated. It's quite as complex as the plot itself of the anime, but that doesn't detract from how mainstream it sounds and how singable it is and how hummable it is. And there are various versions of it. One of my favorite of course, my favorite version is the original one by Takahashi. But one of my favorite ones also is the one sung by the actresses of Rei, Asuka, and Misato, including of course Megumi Hayashibara, who voices Ayanami Rei. But whatever version it is, even if it's instrumental, it's still the best anime opening theme song for me. And so that was my top 50 anime opening themes of all time. Did your favorite make it to my list? Please comment below if there were songs that you think I should have included in my top 50 or I should listen to so that I can reassess my top 50. I will be trying to make more anime-related videos in my channel very soon. One that I can promise is my list of top or best ending themes from anime. So if you like that video and you would like to see more on popular culture, science, and everything in between, including anime, don't forget to subscribe to PopScicle so that you may be alerted to new content in the future. See you again next time!